What is up, everyone? This is Eddie Aparicio, and I'm joined by my co-host Anthony Tuan Corral, and this is Buzzer Beaters. Buzzer Beaters is a basketball-specific podcast brought to you by grumblingsmedia.com. You can find us at grumblingsmedia.com. You can find us at Pandora, Spotify, X, Facebook, pretty much any outlet you can find your podcast is where you can find Buzzer Beaters. So if this is your first show, this is our 27th show, and we definitely invite you to kind of look at some of our content. We cover a lot of topics, mainly around the NBA, but we do dibble and dabble into the WNBA as well as the NCAA men's brackets and stuff like that. Anyway, but we're going to go ahead and talk about 4 different topics this week, and hopefully we can cover this all within an hour. We don't want to go too much over an hour, and plus Twan has to go get some crab with his family down the street, right? Yeah, so we got to take care of that. So what we're going to go ahead and talk about this week is we're going to talk about the NBA, just the roundup, the last week, what's happened over the last week since we had our last podcast. And by the way, we intended to go live this week, right? But again, work got in the way, unfortunately, for both of us, so we had to go ahead and record it this week. But our intention is to do this live so we can go ahead and hear from you, get your questions and any inputs or comments. We definitely invite you. That's why you have that little ticker on the bottom that tells you that we're here every Wednesday, and we are here live every Wednesday, except for this week, of course. And last week, the same thing happened to us again because of the elections. But anyway, so we're going to go ahead and talk about the NBA in general. It's happened over the last week between the West and the East conferences. Then we're going to go ahead and talk about the NBA Cup. We're right now in the thick of it right now. It just started. It started on Tuesday, right? So we're going to go ahead and cover, all the different groups, Group A, Group B, and Group C for both conferences. And we're going to make our selections, who we think is going to advance. We'll talk a little bit more about like the NBA Cup. Is it something that's going to last? Do you think that they need to make some tweaks? Things like that. We'll talk about that. And then we're going to go ahead and talk about rookies. We on an ongoing basis, we're going to go ahead and talk about rookies. And, we covered it a few podcasts ago. We're going to go ahead and talk about some of the changes to that list since then. And then the very last topic is we're going to talk about some of the upcoming rookie contract extensions. There's roughly about 13 players that haven't been signed yet. So we're going to talk about some of that. That's going to be more of Twan's. He's going to be hosting that primarily. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. So without further delay, Twan, let's go ahead and start with the West. All right.
Yes.
So
Before we begin, Big
Let's
Ed, I'm digging the jacket, brother. I'm digging the jacket. Nice.
You like that? It's not bad, Mom. I gotta say,
there's some Cal Poly alumni somewhere crying and upset with you, but I like the jacket.
You know what, man? It's funny. I think I may have talked about this in a previous podcast, but like last summer, we visited 23 schools, man. 23 schools, all in California, right? And I kid you not, man, Cal Poly showed out well, man, but my daughter didn't feel it, man. She didn't feel it, so that broke my heart. But she chose LMU, which is why I'm wearing this little garment here, showing off that this is the school that my daughter's going to. So
I'm liking the jacket. All right.
Dude, she's loving it too, man. We hardly hear from her, bro. It's a trip, man. It's like my wife and I are just at home, kind of dibbling, dabbling, just twiddling our thumbs. Like, okay, we got to talk to each other now.
Get used to that, brother. Get used to that. You gotta find each other again. You gotta find each other again.
Yeah, exactly. But 2 nights ago, man, we had like probably the best of the opening games of the NBA Cup that happened. The Emirates NBA Cup started on Tuesday, and we're going to start with the West. But we're going to talk about the West and the NBA Cup later. But this happens to coincide, right? The very last game here in the Bay Area was Klay Day. You all know that Klay Thompson left the Warriors to go join the Mavericks this past offseason, and this was his first time coming back to the Bay. And it was quite a scene, man. It was pretty cool what they did. And if you haven't seen it, I invite you to go on YouTube and check out what they did for Klay. But what they did, because Klay is known for being kind of this quirky, competitive guy, but he's like Captain Klay because he has this boat, and it's known that he has this boat. And he takes people all over the Bay and stuff. And everybody was given a cap, like one of these captain caps, and they tipped the cap to him, at the right when he got introduced, which was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool thing, man. And by the way, the game was unbelievable. That game was unbelievable, bro. I mean,
it wasn't unbelievable. There's so many things about it I want to talk about, but
dude, get into it, bro. I mean, I just set the stage. Go ahead and talk, man.
So first things first, to your point, for those that didn't know, they had all 400 Warriors employees line up in the underneath tunnel.
Yep.
So when Klay came in, they were all tipping the cap to him. Obviously, it was cap day for every single fan in the stadium or the arena, and they all had and I'll be honest with you, I never really got emotional about Klay leaving.
Yeah.
I kind of knew he wasn't happy. For those that don't know, Klay's my all-time favorite Warrior. He's one. Chris Mullin is two. I love Steph, so I want to be. I know Steph is the franchise, but I'm always liking that other guy. The guy that kind of helps the guy.
Me too.
And Klay's my favorite Warrior, and has been. But I knew he wasn't happy. I knew that things weren't going smoothly. So when he left, all good until that night when they played the video. And they had the hat. And I got to admit, I was getting a little emotional.
I was too, actually, man. And you know what it is, bro? It's, we're in our 50s, bro. And as we get older, dude, we just get more emotional. And you and I have daughters, and that in itself makes us emotional, right?
Yeah, that's true.
But anytime we see anything that's kind of, touching or anything that can kind of, it makes us kind of tear up a little bit.
No, it does. And for me, it made me, I guess, realize as great as, or not great, but as an awesome a start the Warriors are having this season. Let's just fantasize here for a minute. Let's say they win the championship. They're going to win one without Klay. Right? Like that's the thing, right? Like, so that's what it made me think about. Like that era is gone. No matter what happens from today forward. And that's really what made me a little emotional. Like, damn, it's not even over, but it feels over.
And you know what's a trip one is that I didn't realize he played for the Warriors for 14 years, man.
Yeah,
I did not realize how long. That's all. I thought it was like 11 years, honestly.
Yeah,
maybe.
Well, two of those years he didn't play at all, right? I mean,
right. That's true. It's true. Yeah. So it comes down to 12 total. But but amazing, dude. But that game was unbelievable, bro. Let me tell you, the Mavericks. They're going to be a problem, man. And Kyrie Irving, dude. I mean, dude, that guy is he's like unbelievable. He's still like one. I think, in my opinion, he is probably the guy that I think is the hardest to guard in the entire NBA.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
And a lot of people say Luka would be up there, Giannis up there because of his sheer size.
But Luka's up there for Kyrie doesn't bowl you. He's crafty. He gets in between the crevices. He moves. He angles his body. Like, he spins the ball. Like, he is just hard to contain. While Luka's more like runs you over. Or
he goes slow though. He plays at his own pace.
He does, but he gets the foul. He does it more with strength and power and that pullback type thing. So I would agree. If there's one guy that I needed a layup out of in the whole NBA, I think Kyrie would be in a very, very short list.
Unbelievable. Dude, they threw everybody at him and nobody could contain him.
Yeah.
I mean, the Warriors are a very good defensive team. It's a known thing now, right? The secret is out. The team is very defensive minded, right? And they're, I think, the number 3 defensive team in the NBA. I think their total net rating is like, I think, 3rd. So but they threw everybody at him. Wiggins, freaking Gary Payton. I mean, Curry isn't really known. Draymond Green. They threw everybody at him that is known to be a very good one-on-one defender, and they could not contain that guy. When he wants to take over, he can take over. And dude, I mean, that's amazing. That guy is freaking amazing. And of course, Wiggins did a good job on containing Luka. He shut him down a little bit. He was frustrating Luka a little bit, even though Luka had a great night. From statistics standpoint, he was just more inefficient. Because Wiggins been more inefficient, right? Yeah, but Klay had a good game, man. I mean,
Klay did the shimmy, and he had his couple of threes in there. And what's funny was I was talking to someone who was at the game, and after that shimmy, like everyone started taking off their hat. Like they came to the realization that kind of like, we love you, Klay, but these are the Warriors.
We can't be doing that to us, bro.
We want to whoop on you, and they're like, that's it. Like, it's over, Like, now there's no dubs.
I know.
So I thought that was kind of funny.
But dude, and I got to tell you, man, Draymond Green played an unbelievable game, dude. Unbelievable game, man. I mean, like, wow. He was.
Steph said it. Steph said it at the end of the game. Everything Steph did on the offensive end, Draymond did on the defensive end. I mean, it was just they both had a monster 5 minutes, 6-7 minutes to end that game.
That was the best version of Draymond Green I have seen since they first won their first title. That's how good this guy was that night, man. And if he can sustain it like this the entire season, they're going to be a problem. And have you noticed that a lot of the analysts, the broadcasters, the so-called experts, man, they're all jumping on the Warriors bandwagon right now, man.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
I noticed they're all talking him up now. They're all, they're all coming around except for Chuck, because we all know Chuck.
He's a hater, man. He's a hater.
But at the end of that game, you could really tell the benefit of the 12-man rotation, because the Mavericks were tired. They were just getting tired, and the Warriors were just looked like they were going up, and the Mavericks were going down. And dude, it's been a long time, if ever, that I've seen Steph have that much emotion.
Yeah.
On a regular season game. In a regular season. And he, it was, to me, when I looked at that, what I read into it is, I'm the big brother, you're the little brother, you don't get to beat me. That's how I read it,
Well, yeah, some of the local sports talk guys were kind of alluding that there probably was some beef going on, because there was some talk, and I don't know if this is, true or not. Kind of regurgitating what I heard was a possibility that, there was I think Steph was supposed to go up and talk, after, he got announced and kind of say thanks and all that. But I think, and it came up on Draymond podcast.
It did. It was on Draymond. Yes.
And I guess Steph decided, I guess Steph decided not to do it because he wanted to be in game mode. And that, I guess, that kind of ticked off.
What had happened was what he said is that Steph had reached out to Klay for something other than that, and that Klay ghosted him. Klay didn't respond, and then Steph got upset and said, "You know what? I got to focus on the game. I'm not talking anymore.
I'm not going to talk." So that it was a tit for tat type of thing.
Yeah, it was kind of.
You're going to ghost me, then I ain't going to go ahead and talk in front of everybody about you.
In the way that he was so emotional at the end, because that was like releasing anger. That's what it felt like to me. It wasn't so much. But it was like anger, like he was like,
dude, I gotta tell you, bro. But I gotta tell you, bro. The way Steph is playing since the Olympics, dude, it's cementing him as top 5, maybe arguably top 4 of all time. Now we're talking about just point guards. We're talking about players. I mean, this guy's ridiculous.
Yeah.
What him and LeBron are doing at their age. I mean, you see LeBron's triple-double?
No, and more kudos to LeBron, obviously, because he's older. He's 3 or 4 years older. But LeBron is playing insane. Like,
he's playing incredible, man. And I gotta say, the JJ Redick has gotten this team playing pretty well, man. I gotta give it to him. The fact that they figured out to play Anthony or have the whole offense go through Anthony Davis, that's revealed some things, and I think LeBron has had to adjust to that, because he wasn't used to it. He was always the guy. His usage rate actually went down recently, but it's starting to spike back up, right? But everybody knows everything runs through LeBron and Anthony Davis, and Anthony Davis is their main offensive threat. But people can't forget LeBron James, even at 40 or wherever he's at, 40 or 41, he's crazy. I think he's 40, right? So, and what he's doing, he had a 35-point triple-double last night, man.
No,
I know. 35 points, 14 assists, 12 rebounds. Dude, unbelievable,
he's insane.
Man.
I think for the Lakers to succeed, though, they're going to have to, primarily Davis and LeBron are going to have to offset each other, like who's the man each night. So, but my concern for them is over the span of a season, like, will they have enough help?
I mean, so Hachimura has been up and down lately.
He has been up and down. But when he's up, he's
really good.
When he's up.
Austin Reeves has been pretty consistent.
Yes.
D'Angelo Russell has been up and down a little bit.
Yeah, but I think he might start to be getting in the doghouse. I know that they sat him. They didn't start him a couple of games ago. And I don't know. It seems like JJ's not a fan of D'Lo. And we'll see how that goes. There's been talk that they might trade him before, by the trade deadline and try to pick somebody else up, but we'll see.
Interesting. And and Jared Vanderbilt, I don't think he's even played yet. And that guy's a really good defensive player.
Yeah, he is. Is he hurt? I thought he was hurt. I know he was hurt to start.
He was hurt since last year, and I don't know what his timetable to come back is, but he's a very good player. And I'd love to have him on the Warriors, honestly, man. Make a deal for that guy. But anyway, but yeah. So we talked about the Warriors. We started talking about the Lakers a little bit. Let's shift over to the other teams, the Thunder. What are your thoughts, man? Okay, so the Thunder lost to the Warriors, right? And the Warriors have been on fire right now. We talked about the Warriors a lot, but at length, they took out the Thunder, they took out the Mavericks, they took out the Celtics. All right, these are all 3 really good teams. The only team they lost to is the Cleveland Cavaliers, of course, being the best team in the NBA right now, right? They're playing out of their minds.
We'll talk about them in a minute
when we get to the East. Yeah, but the Thunder, all right, the Thunder. The reason why I wanted to bring up the schedule is because the Warriors did beat the Thunder, and when that happened, Chet Holmgren, he broke his pelvic bone. He's out for 2 months minimum, man. That's a serious injury, man. I mean,
that's a serious injury. And when Hartenstein gets back, that'll give him some height again. But what I hadn't realized is, like, I looked at them as like a really tall team, but once Chet Holmgren went out, they were significantly smaller. You know,
and I don't small ball right now, man.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought that, but that changes their dynamic quite a bit. You know,
it's going to be interesting.
That could derail them in terms of
absolutely. That was one of my notes right there. It's like, you know, this is going to be interesting to see how they adjust, maintain, you know, their dominance, if you will, because they have been the dominant team, right? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is playing in an MVP form already, man. He's unbelievable, right? You know, Jalen Williams, you called him as probably the most improved player in the NBA. And dude, he's showing out, man. I mean, he's a player, man. He is a freaking player. So, you know, and so their big three, there was Jalen Williams, Shai Gilgeous, and Chet Holmgren. One of the big three is gone. So now, how do they backfill that, right? They don't have Hartenstein. Hartenstein's supposed to be coming back probably within a week or two. He's coming back soon. That'll help fill the void a little bit. They have this other guy,
even then, it's going to take a couple of weeks to get him used to it.
For sure, for him to get adjusted to it. It's an adjustment, right? There's other teams that are going through this adjustment period, namely, you know, the Minnesota Timberwolves, which is another team to talk about, and also the New York Knicks when we get to the East, right? But there's an adjustment period that's going on with them too, right? The Minnesota Timberwolves, you know, they're still not playing like they were playing last year. They're very dependent on Anthony Edwards to be a star every night, and Anthony Edwards isn't playing at the level that he had played last year.
Well, he's definitely not being as aggressive. I mean, he's not into Steph Curry all of a sudden.
He's trying to be a facilitator, which is cool. You got to give it to him. I mean, he knows that he needs help in order to be a better player. But, you know, Julius Randle, you know, he wasn't even playing that much the last game, man. He got, you know, it was a matchup. They lost their last game. I forgot who they lost to. But
I'll tell you here in a minute.
Yeah, they were getting spanked to
the Trailblazers, Eddie.
Yeah, the Trailblazers. That was my team. Remember, I said that it's Detroit versus the Trailblazers. Trailblazers are a problem sometimes, man. They were just an up and coming team. If everybody's healthy, they're a problem. But they lost to the Blazers, and Julius Randle wasn't even playing that much in the fourth quarter. So there's something not working right now, and I don't know what it is.
Like I told you. Yeah, the first thing I noticed, and, you know, Julius Randle's playing less, but the first thing I noticed is, you know, the amount of time he needs the ball in his hand. And that just kind of changed the whole offense. You know, it just seemed to be less flowy. And so that to me is the only thing, because I think DiVincenzo's fitting in fine. I think he's doing well.
He's playing very well.
Everyone else seems to be about the same, but when Julius Randle's in there, that offense seems slow. I can't put it any other way but just slow.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Something's up there. You know, I think if I look at their net rating, I don't think I have their net rating, but let me see. I think their net rating, let me see if I have it here. I think I do have it here. Let's see. Their net rating, they are, let me see, the Wolves, they're number 12. They're at 2.58. They're number 12. Just to put it in comparison, the Oklahoma City Thunder at 12.48. They're number 1. Cleveland Cavaliers are number 2 at 11.5. The Warriors are number 3 at 11.01. So you have the Timberwolves at 2.58, number 12 in the conference. And last year they were top 5. All right. So something is up. Something is up there, man. It's an adjustment, right? That's why we brought it up, because
but another couple of weeks it's going to go beyond adjustment, Eddie. It's going to start turning into concern.
Yeah, we shall see, man. You know, they're So, but okay. So we talked about the Thunder. We talked about the Warriors. We talked about the Wolves. Okay, let's get into the Nuggets, man. The Nuggets.
Yeah, they woke up.
They have seemed to turn things around, man. They have won 5 in a row. All right, and 3 in a row since our last podcast. Their net rating is 2.68. They're number 11th, right? They're pretty. What's happened here, bro, is that they put Christian Brown in the. They have Westbrook, who is covered for Jamal Murray, who got hurt, right, for a couple games, and luckily they had a Russell Westbrook to be there to help out. But this other guy, Julian Strawther, has seemed to emerge now. He's gotten a lot of minutes coming off that bench, but they only have like really a 7-man rotation right now. This is like a Tom Thibodeau run the team now, right? A 7-man rotation in the regular season, that's going to be a problem, man. They have to find other guys, and they've been introducing some other kind of. Zeke Najee's been playing. Some other guy named Watson, who's not a very well-known guy. Well, Peyton Watson, but there's another guy that's
and in all honesty, Jokic has been playing out of his mind, which you can't expect him to do that the whole season.
Yeah, I mean, but if two of their starters are out, they are screwed.
Yes,
they are screwed. They have no depth, man.
I agree.
But they have been playing better lately, so they're inching right back up into the standings, right? Which takes us now to another team that's been up there, the Phoenix Suns, man. Right?
The Suns.
Let me tell you something. What's interesting about this? Their net rating. They're number 15th in the league. They're at the 0.59.
Yeah.
That tells me that they're playing kind of like middle of the road basketball, but yet they're winning. They're finding ways to win, right?
Correct.
They're
winning. They're winning the close games.
Yeah.
Let
me see, my lights went out here. Yeah, they're winning the close. That's exactly what's going on. Is they're winning their close games. But what's happened is they've inserted this rookie guy Ryan Dunn into the starting lineup. Right now, he's starting to climb the rookie ladder, which we'll get to later. Because he's now playing like 20 to 24 minutes a night, his stats are going to go up. But they needed to do this out of necessity because they have a pretty streamlined bench right now. Right?
Correct.
They do have. They do have this point guard tandem of Tyus Jones and Monty Morris, which has seemed to open them up a little bit. But they lost
Tyus Jones has been the difference maker in terms of putting everything together.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But they lost Kevin Durant, man. Kevin Durant's got a calf strain.
And this has been my concern, Eddie. This is my concern between Durant and Beal. I just think that they'll be, Durant has been pretty available the last couple of seasons.
Right.
But I'm going to guess that maybe he's going to play 60 to 65 games this year. And Beal hasn't, I don't believe he's been hurt yet, but Beal, I think, will play less.
He's a ticking time bomb, then he's going to get hurt, dude.
Yeah. And so what happens to the team when that happens? If everyone's healthy, if all those guys were 5 years younger, then I'd be like, dude, they're going to win the championship. But at this point, I'm taking age. But as they're playing right now, they're doing really well. Obviously, I think they lost to the Clippers? Who they just lose to? When Durant was out. Anyway,
but they lost. They lost to the Sacramento Kings. 2 of the last 3 games they lost against the Sacramento Kings, and that's Sacramento Kings has their number. Sacramento Kings have been struggling themselves, right? So they're not the same as last year either. They're kind of like hovering around the 9th, 10th seed right now. But they seem to have Phoenix Suns number right now because they won 2 of the last 3 losses the Suns have had has been to the Sacramento Kings. But so let's get to the next team. This is probably the last team, and then we'll go to the East, right? The Houston Rockets, man.
Yes.
Houston Rockets, man. Okay, let me tell you, their net rating is 5.21. That's number 6th in the NBA. All right.
Yeah.
This team is looking more and more formidable. They won 5 out of the last 6 games. And they did this after they almost beat the Warriors when the Warriors were up by 31 points to them, and they had to go to overtime to beat the freaking Rockets, right? So the Rockets are a problem, man. I mean, they have, Şengün is Baby Jokic.
A monster.
He's really good, man. He's Baby Jokic. That's what he's known for, right? He's known as Baby Jokic, right? Then you got Jalen Green, who's an offensive, right? Then you have Van Fleet, who's kind of the stable point guard type. Who can shoot, facilitate, right? Then you got Jabari Smith. Jabari Smith is an up-and-coming power forward who can shoot and play good D. Then you have these other guys on the bench. Tari Eason, right? Yep. Guy was playing awesome against the Warriors.
Yeah, when he played against the Warriors, he was tearing them up.
He was unbelievable. And then you got Amen Thompson, one of the Thompson twins. And then you got Steven Adams.
Lies, yeah.
Yeah, Steven Adams, dude, coming off the bench now on that team. He wasn't there when the Warriors played him, but he's now back. And
you got a capable rookie in Reed Shepherd who can, at least if anything, run the offense.
Yeah, and he's roughly getting about 10 minutes a night. He's not. I mean, he came into a situation where the team was already pretty deep, right? And so he's not going to have many minutes to be distributed to him. But when he gets his chance, he's doing pretty good. He's not. He doesn't have a deer in the headlights look. It's not too big for him, which is great, right? But they've beaten guys. They've beaten Memphis. They've beaten Dallas. They've beaten the Clippers. The Houston Rockets are a team to watch out for, man. And
they are.
Yeah, you had them ranked pretty high.
They're this year's Oklahoma City Thunder.
Right. No, they're legit, man. So
what the Thunder started doing last year, they're doing this year.
Yeah. So all right, bro. So before we go to the East, anything else? Any other comments before we move on to the East on the West?
I don't want to lose sight of the Spurs. I believe they're 500 now.
They are. They're 6-6.
Wembanyama just had a 50-point game. I mean, don't sleep on them either. I think they're still going to be right outside the playoffs, maybe in the play-in game. But, dude, that's a team that's going to make the West tougher next year, the year after, and the year after. They're just –
yeah.
I just didn't want to mention that because Wembanyama's playing – he's starting to come into his own. And when that guy starts to feel uncomfortable, look out.
I know. I agree, man. All right. Dude, all right. So anybody else on the West before we go to the East?
No. I mean, no. I think we talked about Dallas a little bit. Just a quick mention: New Orleans is falling off the map.
Oh man, dude, they're snake bitten right now with injuries, man. You know,
is Trey Murphy back in the lineup? I haven't seen him.
He is back. He is back, right?
Okay.
But they lost McCollum, and then they just recently lost. They lost Zion. He's been out for a while. Of course, we know about DeJounte Murray. He's been out. They just lost Alvarado. Grand Theft Alvarado. Yeah. He's out with a hamstring issue too. Dude, this team is snake bitten, bro.
If I'm not mistaken, he's our local Puerto Rican, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, but he's a good defensive player, man. I like that guy, man. He's good, man. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention them real quick because they're doing significantly worse than both you and I had
projected. Yeah. No, I agree, man. I agree. All right, man. So let's go. Let's go to the East, man, because we got to get you to crab, man, with your family, bro. So we got to get through this, man. All right, so let's go to the East. All right, so let's start off. Anything that you want to bring up first, if anything?
Well, I know we're going to talk about him, but freaking Evan Mobley.
Oh yeah.
Holy crap, dude!
Like, he's a beast.
Who woke that kid up? Like, because even in the playoffs last year, like he was good. Then I'm watching him this year, dude. That guy is borderline dominant. I mean, just like try to stop me.
Yeah, they're a problem, dude. The Cavaliers.
When I looked at them, I'm like, he's probably reason 1A why they have the record they have, right there. I mean, obviously, Spider Mitchell is critical, but I'm just talking about the difference maker right now.
Yeah, like the most growth, right? From one year to the other to make a difference. Yeah, he's playing out of his mind. And then Jared Allen has kind of slid off a little bit.
A little bit, I agree. A little bit, but they just need him to play from the defensive end because on the offense, on both ends, Mobley's good.
Dude. And dude, when they, we got to see them play against the Warriors, and the Warriors were coming in just beating Boston, right? And they were kind of, okay, we're the team now, right? And then boom, dude,
slap in the face.
The Cavaliers were up by 30-something points, 31 or 32 points on them, man. They dude, they were shooting lights out, man. And you know what? The Cavs are the number one shooting three-point team in the NBA. They shoot it at 41% collectively.
Dude, when I watched that game, it reminded me of opening night of Boston against the Knicks. Like,
oh yeah,
you got no shot, bro. Like you got no shot here,
dude. And and check this out. We're talking about 3-pointers, right?
Yep.
Cleveland Cavaliers hoist up 37.2 3-point shots a game. That's number 14th in the league. Okay. But yet they're efficient at it, man, at 41.3%. You know who throws up the most 3-pointers in the NBA, bro?
Got to be the Warriors.
No, you already mentioned them. Boston.
You know
how many 3-point shots those guys hoist up a freaking game, dude?
Well, since you said they're having 30, I'm going to guess 45.
50.
Oh, good God.
50 3-pointers a
dude,
game, dude.
I remember when Harden was on the Rockets.
Yeah.
They broke the record by attempting more than 50 3-pointers. And this was like 5 or 6 years ago. Like the most attempts. Now what's got to be
average for the freaking Boston Celtics? What's got to
be the record now? 70 attempts?
Dude, that's crazy, man.
Dude, what's an average team get in terms of attempts? 100? Maybe? 80 to 100?
I don't know, man. But you brought up the Warriors, right? Warriors are 41.3 attempts per game. That's third in the NBA. Boston again, 50.4 per game. Then you got Charlotte Hornets. They're number 2 at 44.9.
Phoenix Suns, their efficiency is probably in the toilet. They're probably in the mid-30s.
Right. The Phoenix Suns are right there at number 4, right? Minnesota's number 5. So 3 points, the 3-point shot, thanks to the Warriors, is here to stay, man, right? It's all because of the Warriors. They opened this Pandora's box, and now you get this NBA that you have right now where it just, everybody's run and gun, man. But the Cavaliers do it well, man, and you got to give it to them, man. Kenny Atkinson brought some of this knowledge he got from playing on being on Steve Kerr's staff, and dude, they're shooting like he has kind of a combination of D'Antoni plus Kerr offense, man, because they're shooting up within 7 seconds, man.
You think that's sustainable, Eddie?
Oh, dude, they're 12-0, man. I mean,
no, I know,
dude,
but I'm saying, do you think they're just starting off the season hot, or
I don't know,
think
man. I think this team they're legit, man.
they're scary, bro.
Kenny Atkinson unlocks something, and what that is, don't know. Could have been Evan Mobley's emergence. I don't know. It could be. You know, that's pretty astute for you to point that out because he's definitely a guy that I think has been the biggest jump from last year.
Yeah, I mean, he's the biggest difference maker. I want to be clear. I'm not saying he's the most impactful, but he's been the biggest difference maker from last season to this season.
Yeah, I mean, he's legit, man. I mean, that's
I'll tell you right now. I'm gonna get my popcorn ready. I don't know when they play, but I want to watch that Cleveland-Boston game.
Dude, it's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be good. I have lighting issues here, man. My light keeps going off, man. Anyway, I got brujeria in here. I guess I don't know, man. All right, man. So let's go on to the Celtics, man. All right, a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about them. So they just lost 2 of the last 4 games, man. All right.
Yes.
Their net rating is 10.93. They're number 4 in the NBA, but they lost 2 of their last 4 games. They lost to the Hawks, right? Recently. And that's the NBA Cup, which is going to dovetail into our next topic, you know, after we go. But they didn't have, you know, they haven't had Porzingis the whole season yet, right? That dude is,
and that matters. And that, I want to that matters big time.
He is a difference maker, right? Yes. Then they had, you know, they were losing Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown just came back. I think he came back on Sunday, his first game. I guess he played against the Bucks, and the Bucks, you know, that's another team we'll talk about, you know, probably after this. But the Bucks, you know, they barely lost to the Celtics, right? The Celtics, I think, beat them by 6 points, and that was Jaylen Brown's first game. But you know, from what I've seen from right now, the Celtics don't look like the same intense team that they were last year. And it might be a byproduct of them just winning the championship. They know what it takes. They're probably not going to be so hard on the regular season. They're probably going to sometimes go through the motion, take the time off because they won, right? That to me is a little evident. I've seen that a little bit.
Well, you know, one thing I'll point out, and I don't know if this has anything to do with anything, but they have been a lesser team ever since the Warriors beat them.
Dude, the Warriors they're in their heads, man.
Well, that's kind of what I'm getting at. You know, sports is part psyche here, and you know, when the Warriors are good, the Celtics have a hard time beating them.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm wondering if that has some kind of play. You know, now Jaylen Brown didn't play in that game, which is an important piece. Porzingis wasn't available for that game, which is also an important piece. So when they play again, assuming those 2 guys will be back, that's going to be a different team. It's going to be a different feel to that game. But you know, something happened, and they've been a lesser team since then. I believe since they played the Warriors, they're under 500.
That could be a perception thing. I think it's possible. There could be something to that because you said it's a psyche game thing, right? And the Warriors probably just kind of maybe put a little reality into them, but they're the defending champs, bro. Right? They know that they are really good, and they are now doing what the Warriors notoriously did, where they took, you know, they think they turn it on at any time and come back. And the Celtics, they have the talent to be able to do that. And when they get Porzingis back, man, they're going to still be. They're probably going to do that even more, but they're going to be way so talented and deep that they can afford to do it.
Well, that's why this Cleveland game is going to be really interesting to me because I'm curious how Boston's going to treat them.
Yeah,
you know, especially and again, I need to see when they play, especially if Cleveland's undefeated or close to it when they do meet.
It's coming up, man. I don't know when they're playing, but it's coming soon, man. So that's gonna be must-see TV.
Well, that's as heavyweight as you can get in the East. I mean, big time. There's no one even close.
But you know, the East, we always thought that it wasn't really going to be like much of a race. We thought it was Celtics, and at the time, we thought, okay, Sixers, the Bucks, you know, the Cavs, the Pacers. Right, we thought all these teams would be,
but I thought the Knicks were going to do better than they're doing.
Dude,
the Knicks are a bit above 500. They're struggling.
They're struggling. Let's talk about the Knicks, man. Let's get into it because I know you got to get going your crap here pretty soon. Let's get into it. All right, so Knicks, man, they're a net rating of 3.62. That's number 9. Okay, they have been playing in general better, but they're losing, man. They're still losing. They've gone 2-3 with losses to the Hawks, the Bulls, the Pacers. But they had a win over the Embiidless Sixers and a struggling Bucks team, right? They are going through an adjustment period that we talked about that the Wolves are going through, right? There's no mistake here, man. The 2 teams that are struggling the most are the ones that had that big offseason deal, right? You know, Karl Anthony Towns is now with the Knicks, and there's an adjustment period because he's a different player than.
But he's been playing well. Towns has been playing well.
He's been playing very well. I mean, like the whole offense is kind of centered around him. It seems like And Jalen Brunson, his effectiveness has dropped off a little bit too, because he's still trying to figure out how to work with this guy, man, right? And then you got, the Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby coming in.
Yep.
I mean, both those guys have been playing very well lately from a defensive standpoint. And that's what we thought was lacking with these guys early on in the season. But they seem to ramp that up, but they're still struggling a little bit, right? But you look at their net rating, they're number 9. That tells you that they're doing the right things. They just haven't figured out how to win just yet with their new piece. Right.
Correct.
So that's kind of what's going on.
Yeah,
here,
I agree. And Julius Randle was out for a large portion towards the end of last season. And so they were running the offense through Jalen Brunson. Maybe they're trying to figure out the power balance between Brunson and Towns, like who gets what, when, that type of thing. So,
it's possible, man.
We'll give them time, but I have faith at least that the Knicks will be better than what they are right now. I don't think
there's absolutely no doubt in my mind
being worse. But
there is no doubt in my mind that they're going to turn this thing around.
Yeah,
no doubt.
What's funny is, I don't want to say I guarantee, but I have less of a feeling about that with Minnesota. Right? I'm less confident that they're going to get, I sense something wrong there.
With Minnesota?
Yes, and I can't figure it out. Like with the Knicks, I feel like they're trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
But with Minnesota, it seems different. They seem like a different team.
I don't know what that stems from, man, because they just seemed like and it was brought up by one of the analysts recently that they just seem to be kind of going through the motions a little bit.
Yeah.
They don't have the same intensity that they had last year. And who knows, bro? It could be now that people have game plan for them now. It could be a result of that, right? They know what to do, right? They know that everything runs around Anthony Davis. If you can shut him down, or contain him or make him inefficient, then you have a shot, right?
Yeah.
And he hasn't been the same guy. I mean, he has his great nights, but then he has the Anthony Davis off night too, right? So
and you know this as well. This has happened historically in the NBA. I mean, I like Anthony Edwards. I want to preface that by saying I like him a lot. But last year he was popping off quite a bit in terms of, how good he is and how, there was less talent when Jordan played and there's more talent now. And sometimes the league looks around and goes, okay, you think you're that guy, huh? And,
it's possible,
man. They get up a little more for those games now, and
it's
it
possible,
a little harder
man.
for them,
Yeah, it's possible, man.
So we'll see.
Yeah. So so we talked about the Knicks, we talked about the Celtics, we talked about the Cavs. What about the Bucks, man? What's your thoughts on the Bucks? I mean, they've done some recent lineup changes because Damian Lillard is now in concussion protocol. They started some of the younger guys. Former Warrior Brian Rollins.
Yes,
I
you
sent you a
telling
text
me about that. Yeah,
that dude was balling, dude. I was like, wow, why wasn't that here when he was here, bro? Anyway, but he suffered a shoulder injury, but they brought him into the starting lineup. I think out of necessity because of Damian Lillard being hurt. They got this other guy, a sharpshooter, AJ Green, who's been kind of playing now starting minutes and it seems to make these guys playing a little bit better and freer. Giannis is still a beast, man. I mean, he's a beast. I mean, did you see he had a beast of a game last night? Dude, he scored, I think, 98 fantasy points last night, bro. That's ridiculous, man. Oh my God.
Bro. That's more than probably my whole rookie team did in a week.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But let me ask you something. Do you think that these guys are on the path of recovery now? I mean, they have won their last 2 games. And they just lost to Boston, like I said, by 6 points. And then from there, they seem to got their confidence.
So here's my thing. At least for right now, my initial response is they got to pick up because they're playing players that other teams don't have tape on. So it's always hard.
It's possible.
It's always hard to deal with players you're not familiar with, and it's so possible. you don't know their tennis. So right now, I'm going to credit that to where they're at. If I don't think long term they're going to be able to sustain this. I think they're in trouble.
Wow. I mean, something's going to happen. I mean, shoot, Brook Lopez has played well. Damian, Chris Middleton, dude, that team really needs Chris Middleton back, man. They really do. And without him, they're just going to be kind of what you see right now. But they have shown some semblance of a recovery. We shall see if it sustains itself.
Yeah.
Okay, two more teams before we go on to the next segment, right?
Yes.
Let's talk about the Pacers, man. All right. They're a net rating of a negative 2.96. They're number 21 in the NBA.
Boy.
All right. Now, it seems to me that these injuries that have happened, right? They've lost those 2 centers. Actually, they've lost 3 centers. Wiseman, Isaiah Jackson, Jalen Smith, right? Yeah. That puts a lot of pressure.
Backup.
Yeah, that puts a lot of pressure on Miles Turner. And as a result of that, now they're playing, newly drafted Enrique Freeman, all right, who used like a late second round pick. And then you got Jarris Walker, who came out of Houston. He was drafted, I think, 2 years ago. And he's been playing a lot more minutes, but these guys are kind of unproven right now, right? They're struggling, man, but they've now inserted Ben Mathurin in the starting lineup, all right? Now, they had to do that in necessity because
yes, you like him. You like him quite a bit.
I picked him as a sixth man of the year. But now if he's starting, man, he's not going to – I can't win that bet, man.
Yeah.
So,
but
anyway.
As people get healthy, we'll see.
But in my opinion, they need to play McConnell more, man. I don't know, man. They need to play that guy more. I just like that guy a lot, man. So, what are your thoughts, man, on Pacers?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm I think for them, the way I look at it is they've got some injury bugs. They've got some things. I think that since they're in a weaker East, if they can just hover where they're at, I think they're in the 5th or 6th seed. If they can manage to hover, I think they're a game under 500. If they can hover right in there, I think they're the kind of team that if you get hot at the right time, they can make some damage in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I never really thought of them as a juggernaut. I thought of
them
as a streaky squad, right? They're a
running gun team, man.
If they catch a good streak, they can beat anyone. It's just a matter of when they start that streak. That's kind of the way I'm looking at them right now. And until they get a little bit more talent, that's where I would see them. So I wouldn't say I'm neither worried nor disappointed in where they're at. I think that this is the kind of team they're going to be for a little bit until they can add a couple more weapons.
But dude, remember we talked about the Team USA effect. Okay.
Yes.
We see what's going on with Jason Tatum. I called that he's going to be the MVP. He's playing at that level, not quite like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is, but he's playing at a level that he'll be kind of looked at as one of the
considered. Yep.
Right. But he didn't play that much. Then you got Tyrese Halliburton, same thing. He didn't play that much. Wonder if that's had an effect on him, man, because he hasn't been the same. He has not been the same. He is not playing. He's really off right now, man. And
I would agree with you. The one thing that I could say for Halliburton is he went deep into the playoffs. He played in the USA. He's not accustomed to playing that many games in a year. So it could just be a little bit of fatigue, a little bit of him. Tatum's been in the postseason here for the last couple of years, obviously. So he's kind of built that up a little bit. So with Halliburton, I'm just guessing here. I don't think it's anything, like in his confidence or anything like that. I just think maybe he's just a little more tired than he has been in previous seasons.
Maybe it's possible. Yeah. Maybe he's yawning too much too, bro. I don't know.
Too many naps.
Yeah, too many naps, man. Yeah. Too many naps. All right, the last team before we go on to the next segment, man. The Sixers. All right, Sixers.
Lady, I don't know if you're looking at my screen, but I got a big thumbs down going right now. Big thumbs down, bro. What the hell is going on there?
Dude, I don't know, man, but their net rating is negative 8.31. Okay, this is number 28 in the NBA. Okay, they are struggling. Paul George just came back. Joel Embiid just had his first game and just looks sluggish, right? He's struggling, bro.
He's not only sluggish though; he's bitter, bro.
So I mean, dude, and with that whole altercation with the reporter, I get why he got angry, dude. I'd be pissed too, but I don't know if I'd push the guy. He's a big dude.
Yeah.
Man. Anytime a guy like that is doing something to a smaller guy, you're gonna be like, come on, man, what are you doing, bro? I mean, come on, man, you got to be more professional. And now
you are way up by 200 pounds, bro.
Dude, I mean, and you could just see I think that the fan base is starting to turn on him, bro. Unfortunately,
I think, and Philly's the wrong place for that to happen.
Dude, yeah, he's getting. I'm sure the talk shows are just blowing up about him right now, right?
Yeah, go talk to Ben Simmons. Tell him how he feels. Ask him how he feels, bro.
This whole process that they're doing, they had this whole kind of plan to limit Joel Embiid's playing time, right?
Yeah.
He was not going to play any back-to-back games. Why in the hell are you doing that? They think that they're good enough with Paul George and everybody else that they can do this and then save him for the playoffs. Dude, I got news for you, man. You have to get to the playoffs to be able to be able to do this, right? Yeah. They're losing too many games right now. They need to figure out right now the chemistry between both of these new acquisitions. Paul George and Joel Embiid need to play as many minutes as they can together. And if anything, don't say that you're not going to play them on the back-to-back nights. Just limit his minutes on the back-to-back nights.
Exactly. Just 20 minutes. Yeah. 20 minutes. But that's the other thing too. He's got to develop a rhythm. He's got to get chemistry with Paul George. Anytime he doesn't play, anytime he's out, it impacts all that. And so you're right. You're going to go to the playoffs. You're not even if you manage to squeeze through, you're not going to be in any type of rhythm. I agree with you. you can't be the star of a game and not play regularly. You have to play regularly. You have to get everyone used to you, playing with you, and they're Embiid right now is the problem. I don't mean that as though he is a problem. It's just his attitude. I was watching. I like watching TNT as you do as well. And Chuck was commenting on all the 3-pointers that he's taking, and Chuck's like, because he doesn't want to run all the way down the court.
They do what they do with Manute Bol, right? Remember the Manute Bol days? They put him at the top of the key so he can be on defense quicker. Yeah,
and based on conserving minutes and him saying he's not going to play back to back, and like all of this, I'm like, that kind of makes sense. And I'm like, dude, you can't base your offensive philosophy on you not wanting to run more. Like that's just not,
Do you think that he's worn out his welcome in Philly?
I think it's getting close. I think and you know what it is he's always kind of had this sourpuss face, but in previous seasons it's kind of been kind of funny. Like he's just kind of been like this stoic funny guy. Now he looks bitter, and
he does look bitter.
You know what I mean?
And his play, man.
Yeah, and I think the Philly crowd are going to look at him and go, "You just
get the hell out of here."
But they're going to go, "You're being a little B," cut it out, like man up and play, like we built this whole squad around you. Now you're just going to quit on us? Yeah, Philly ain't gonna stand for that.
Yeah, and he's in his prime, dude. And this guy, he's a problem, dude. When he's engaged.
Oh, he's a huge talent, dude. He is a huge talent.
He is a problem, dude. So hopefully they figure this out, man. Because I actually like Joel Embiid. I really do. Even though what he did to this reporter is kind of like, what are you doing, bro? Yeah, I like the guy. I like him as a player. I like him as a person. I think he's a funny guy, and I love his personality. I love his accent. I just like, he came from
like him.
Yeah. So I'm pulling for him, but he needs to kind of stop doing that shit crap and just play ball, right? So
at this point, at this point, what's that famous LeBron quote that someone said? "Shut up and dribble the ball" or whatever.
Yeah, not play, man.
Yeah, not because of anything other than, dude, people need to hear you talk less for right now and just remind them why they like you, and that is you on the court, playing your offense, playing your game, doing positive things, and then talk later. You can figure that part out later. But I agree with you. He just needs to focus on playing ball and playing as often as he can.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, man. So we covered the NBA, man. Almost took up the whole time. Well, that's good. It was good talk, man. Good concept. But let's now go to the NBA Cup, man. So I know you have some slides that we're gonna go ahead and go over. But the whole intent here is before you even, as you're doing that, one question I want to ask you. Do you like the NBA Cup?
Undecided.
Okay. Do you think that they can tweak some things to make it more meaningful? I mean, because right now it's all for the players. The players get $500,000 each if they get to the finals and win, right? So there's a money incentive. But there was a great conversation on a local radio station today. I don't know if you heard it, but they were talking about some of the tweaks that this thing needed because they needed to do things for the team. And some of the callers that came in, and one of the guys actually came up with a pretty good idea, which I thought was something that they should consider. Maybe some kind of salary cap relief if they win it, for next season.
I like that.
I thought it was a really good idea, man. Yeah. It's okay, or you get another mid-level exception, kind of thing. Some kind of thing like that. I'm like, that's a great idea. So I wanted to kind of bring that out here so that, people listen to our show, kind of pass that around. So eventually it gets to somebody in the NBA going, that's not a bad idea. Because I thought it was a great idea, man. So
you know what would be interesting? Just since we're spitballing ideas.
Yeah.
If you win the cup, you get an automatic playoff bid.
That was another idea that was brought up, right? Yeah. But I mean, that's another way of like you're automatically being the 10th seed, right? No matter where you at. But then what happens to the guy who really deserves it, right? It's like, okay, there's a lot of process there.
You're right. Well, what happens to the guy who deserves it? You should have won the cup. That's what happens.
But still, anyway. But let's put it this way. I got to give it to the NBA for at least trying to come up with something that made the games early in the season more meaningful. They're following this thing and they're trying it, which is cool. Yeah, because the ratings are crap right now.
Yeah, well, let me tell you what I like. I like the court where they do the.
I do too.
The court. I like that.
I do too.
I like that a lot. I'm digging some of the uniforms. Right, I'm really liking some of those. right?
Yep.
And when I look at this bracket and I look at the way they're doing, it's got like a soccer feel to it. Like a World Cup.
Group A, Group B. Yeah, exactly.
And so I like this. The only thing that's holding me back is it's confusing to me to have this in a season. Right. Like in a season, like what would be interesting is if you had it after the finals or you had it before the season officially starts somehow.
Right.
Where like the first month of the season is just this tournament.
Right.
Right. And then you kind of go from there. Like that's the only thing that it's like sticking March Madness in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
Almost.
They're trying something. I mean, I think that it's going to stay. But I think they need to figure out some incentive, like a better incentive than just money, something that benefits the team, something that benefits the fans, right?
Fans,
because this right now is just benefiting the player, right? And
right off the bat, you can think of you're guaranteed a Christmas Day game that follows.
Whatever, just something, right?
Just something.
They got to figure it out, man. But I liked the mid-level exception edition or some kind of salary cap relief. I love that idea. But anyway, all right. So here's what we're gonna do, bro. We're gonna go ahead and pick the teams that we think are gonna come out of each of these groups, right?
Okay.
And we're also gonna take a stab at who we think are gonna be the two wild cards in each of these conferences, right? Okay. So I'm gonna go. Let's start with the East, man. Who do you say comes out of Group A in the East? Right now, the records. They're right now. What I'm showing right here.
That's
how their records are right now. Okay,
correct. So Group A, because Banchero is hurt, I would have picked the Magic, but Banchero's hurt, so I'm going to go with the Knicks out of Group A.
And I'm picking them too. All right, I got the Knicks.
You go next for Group B.
Okay, so Group B, I have.
That's an ugly group, Eddie.
Yeah, so I have the Miami Heat. I'm picking the Miami Heat. Even though they've lost one, I'm having the Heat. I'm picking the Heat.
I'll go with the Pacers on that one.
Okay, you in the Heat and the pick. Interesting. Okay, we're gonna have to keep track of that one too, bro. You know what
I know where this is going.
You know where this is going, bro.
As soon as I saw this, I'm like,
you knew it. All right. What about in Group C, man? Who's coming out in Group C?
Come on, Group C, the Cavs. Oh wait. Oh crap. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Cavs.
Okay, I am gonna go with the Celtics.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go with the Celtics.
That's a good group.
You're gonna see it, man. You're gonna see the Celtics and Cavs play twice. Okay.
Yes.
You're gonna see it, right?
So
I'm picking the Celtics. All right, they have a lot of pride. All right, what about the? Let's go to the West Group A. Right. Who do you have?
I went first last time. You go first this time.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and say the Rockets.
Ooh, I think
the Rockets are gonna come out of the Group A.
Pick.
All right. What about
you? I want to disagree with you, but I think I got to agree. I think the Rockets.
Okay. All right. What about Group B?
All right. I'm gonna do something. Hopefully my friends aren't watching this show. I'm gonna say the Lakers.
Oh, what? Oh, yeah, you believe in Redick, bro. You believe in Redick. You believe in Redick.
Well, they're the defending champions.
Okay.
Right? Are they not?
They want to hang more banners up there, right? Yeah, you can see a picture of LeBron right there holding up the cup. You see the picture of LeBron. I'm going
to pick the Lakers.
All right. So that you got a little subliminal messaging there with LeBron holding up the cup. That's why you picked the Lakers, man.
I didn't even see it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, see. All right, so I'm picking the Thunder.
It worked, Eddie. You're a Bruja.
It
worked.
So I'm picking the Thunder at a Group B. All right, Group C. Who you got, man? Who you got in Group C?
The Warriors.
I am too. I'm picking the Warriors too, and I think that's the hardest group. Look at that. The only team that really is struggling is the Pels. Everybody else in that group is pretty good.
I agree. Right? Although John Morant was out, so depending, I don't know how long he's out for, but the Grizzlies might feel that for this journey. But yeah.
All right, so we let's talk about the East. Who's the? Actually, you know what? Who's going to come out of the East as the wild card?
All right, let's see here.
You picked the Knicks, you picked the Pacers, and then you picked the Cavs.
Yep, I'm gonna go with. For me, I'm gonna pick the Heat.
Okay, that's a good pick. Yeah, that was my pick. So I for the East, I'm picking the Bucks.
Okay. Oh, are you?
Yes,
Woo-hoo!
I'm picking the Bucks.
Right, Eddie,
I am picking the Bucks, man. All right. Yep. They already, I mean, they already have one win, so they're there, man. All right.
Yep.
All right. In the West, who do you have as your wild
that's
card?
easy. The Thunder.
Okay, and I'm picking the Suns.
Okay.
All right, man.
Okay.
There you have it. That's the NBA Emirates Cup or Emirates NBA Cup. Let's go on to the next, man. Let's talk about the rookies. All right. So here's what I have. We spent some time in episode 25 about kind of these rookie rankings, and I have like 4 slides total here to show the audience here. But what you can see here is I have a comparison in top 10 in minutes played. I have the column in the left represents the current rankings, and the column on the right was the rankings that we had in episode 25 when we first did this. And what you can see here is that you can see in the green and the red on the far right of the left column is how much those minutes have increased from the time that we've had in episode 25, right? Then you can see like how they've moved up. That's what you see in those other parentheses, is how far they moved up in the rankings. So you can see Bub Carrington moved up 1, right? But he's getting 30.1 minutes with a 6-minute increase in minutes, right? You can see the Washington Wizards are just saying, look, man, we're going to play everybody we just drafted, man, right? They're just playing everybody they drafted. They got 3 of the top 10 in there. They got Keyshawn George, and then you have Alex Sarr too, right? But, your boy right there, Zachary Reese-Archet, is number 3, all right? So he has gone up 2 from there. So his minutes are also increasing. You need, guys that, you need Filipowski's minutes to go up. You need Reed Shepard's minutes to be going up, to have a shot, right? But in our little contest, which we're going to talk about next, or after the next segment. By the way, bro, we may not have enough time to go for your extension thing. We might.
We can do it next time, or we can go a little longer, bro. We're
okay.
Good.
Okay, because I don't want if your family's waiting for you to go to crab, man. I get it. So
they're not giving me the stink eye yet. I'll tell you when they're peeking over my monitor. Going.
All right, man. All right, but you can see the one guy that has the one guy whose minutes has gone down. The only guy is Cody Williams, and that was my guy that I drafted. Right. Okay. So, but you can see. All right. So the next
time to turn in for Twan.
All right, Twan. Yeah. So, sorry, I went to now. You can go to the next slide, man.
All right.
So, next slide, we have the points per game. Okay, the top 10. Again, the far left and the far right. You can see how much it's changed in the rankings since the episode that we had in episode 25. All right, and I showed the date that we had it, and then the new date. And so, in 2 weeks time frame, you can see that Zachary Reese-Archet has moved up 6 spots, and his points per game has increased by 4.4 points.
That's pretty good.
And then
sorry, Eddie. So it's really quick. Is the 11.7 include the increase, or is that before the increase?
That's what his current points per game is, 11.7. What he was before that was 4.4 points below that. So that's 7.3, right? Which it shows here on he was number 7. You can see it's 7.3 on the one on the right, the list. So that's what you can see. But you can see here, there are some new entrants onto this list that were not on the list last time. There's 3 of them. There's Jared McCain. Okay. Correct. This gone up to 11.5. And he had a monster game yesterday, man. Monster. He scored like 55, 56 fantasy points, right? Yesterday. All right. So he screwed up a lot of my lineups because I didn't have him in many. But you can see, okay, he wasn't on the list. Neither was Keyshawn George. He wasn't on the list last time too. Correct. Right? And then the last one that wasn't on this list was Tristan De Silva, the Magic, Orlando Magic guy that came out of Colorado.
Is he getting minutes because Banchero got hurt? That's probably
I think so. I think that's part of the reason is Banchero. Injuries are gonna play into this, right? But you can see, Ryan Dunn. Okay, he went down. He's the only one that went down. He went down 6 spots to minus 1 point per game less, right? But you can see, on this list, I have Zach Edey, and I have Alex Sarr, and I have Stephon Castle. You only have Zachary Reese-Archet, man.
That's it. All right, that's all right, man. That's all right. Reese-Archet gonna carry me, baby.
All right, man. All right, so let's go to the next list, man.
All right.
So this one is overall statistical rankings. This is actually kind of taken into a point system, just like fantasy sports, fantasy point system, right? So you can see that if you combine all of these statistical categories and you kind of put them all together, you can kind of see the true effectiveness of a player, right? But you can see if you compare the left to the right, the left being the most recent, you can see that there are new entrants on this. Okay, number 4, you have Zach Edey, who wasn't on this list on the previous incarnation of this list. He wasn't on the list. He's at number 4. then you can kind of see also not on the list was Jalen Wells. He was also not on this list previously. But you can see that most of these guys have gone down, okay? Keyshawn George was also on this list. Most of the guys, there's 3 of these guys that have come down from that previous list. Donovan Clingan, then you also have Yves Missy, then you also have Jonathan Mogul. Those are the guys that have slotted down from the previous rankings. But then the guys who've gone up are the guys from the Washington Wizards, man. You have Bub Carrington gone up, right? He went up by 4, 4 slots, and you have Alex Sarr up, another slot. So again, if you look at my players from my team, I have Zach Edey, I have Alex Sarr, and you have Zachary Usar-Shea. Anyway, but it's interesting.
Hey Eddie, really quick, just sidebar, just really quick.
Yeah.
Do you like the strategy that Washington's doing? The little
absolutely, man, absolutely, because they're fans. They know that they're not going to have a great team. So they want the fans, in order to keep the fans engaged, the fans want to see the young guys play. I mean, let's face it. You and I, as Warrior fans, we want to see the players that get drafted by the Warriors. We want to see these guys play, man, regardless, right? And sometimes they're not good enough to crack the rotation. So bravo to these guys for doing that.
Yeah, I don't think Quentin Post is cracking this top 10.
No, he's not going to play this year. He might play garbage minutes in like a 30-point blowout, win or loss. But that's it, man. All right, so
just one thing I want to talk about. The interesting thing is, last show Stephon Castle was 7. He's completely off the list, and I thought he would be more.
He's been starting.
Yeah,
which is interesting. So that tells me he hasn't been very effective in his minutes, at least from from all of these statistical point standpoint. But it's interesting. Yeah, it's a good observation. Stephon Castle, you would think would be on there. So let's go to the last list.
All right.
So this is a subjective versus analytics ranking. So the one column on the left is the rankings from NBA.com. They release these rankings on a regular basis, and I took the most recent one and I put up there that compared to the one that we just went over, the analytics rankings that we just did on the previous slide, and you can see the differences on this slide right here. Now, unfortunately, you can see that Jalen Wells on the analytics shows he's at number 9, yet he was ranked number 1 subjectively. Okay?
So is NBA sort of saying that Jalen Wells is the leading candidate for Rookie of the Year?
Correct. That's what they do. That's what they do. And they usually do that. That's how they usually rank it, is like who they think are the odds-on favorite to be Rookie of the Year. That's what they do. All right. Now, that surprises me that they would put Jalen Wells. Okay, yeah, he's been playing more, but I would say that Zach Edey's probably been more effective on that team. Even though Jalen Wells does have a role on that team, I just think Zach Edey's a bigger matchup night. Jalen Wells starts right now. Zach Edey comes off the bench. Sometimes he starts, but sometimes he's mostly coming off the bench. Okay. Then you can also see Bub Carrington. Okay. He is number 1 on the analytics, and he's number 3 right here. To me, if I were to say right now, I would say he's the odds-on favorite to be Rookie of the Year, in my opinion, just based on all the analytics. He's been on. If you haven't noticed, his picture has been on almost every slide that we've had previous to this, right? Yeah. And I'm showing Jalen Wells here as on the bottom. That's his.
So
picture.
Eddie, and again, I'm not trying to add more to this, but what would be interesting is points per 100 possessions or points per.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that.
20 or 30 because Bub Carrington obviously has an advantage over everyone else here. He's playing 30+ minutes. I think you had it at 30.1 minutes per game. I mean,
correct.
So I don't remember his statistics, but I'm curious if his points per game. I think he was like 5th or 6th in points per game, I thought, but he has way more minutes. So his points per minute is lower than everybody else.
Correct. His his efficiency, yes.
Yeah.
But out of this list, bro, okay, from the rankings, let's look at the NBA.com rankings for one. The guys that start right now are Jalen Wells, Bub Carrington, Zachary Usar-Shea. Now Jared McCain at a necessity. He has been. Ryan Dunn, Alex Sarr, Yves Missy, Keyshawn George, and Stephon Castle. The only one that's not starting on this list is Zach Edey. He has started on some occasion, but he's not starting all the time.
He's not a regular starter.
Yeah, but if you look on the one on the right, you have Bub Carrington, Alex Sarr, Keyshawn George, Yves Missy, Donovan Clingan.
Who doesn't start?
He doesn't start. Jonathan Mogul doesn't start. Right? Those are the only 2 guys on this list that really don't start, but their analytics are indicating that they probably should play more. So,
but see, that's my point. That's why I don't like this list from NBA.com because
it's very subjective, man.
Yeah,
usually they go by scoring, man.
Subjective. It doesn't seem to take into account like starters, minutes, those types of things.
Yeah. It's some guy just kind of looking at it, going, okay, he looked pretty good game. I'll put him up there.
I've heard that name many times. Put him one. Yeah, I got you.
So, all right, man. So that's it for that. So let me ask you something. Do you think you have enough time to go over this? I don't think the extension thing's going to take too long, man. So we can probably finish it out.
No. Let's go over it. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it, man. This is the last segment, everyone. So we're going to talk about some of the players that are up for extension on the rookie contract extensions.
Yep. So, let me bring it up here.
All right.
Come on.
So, all right, and just to buy some time. All right, you got it.
You might want to close the banner there so we can.
Oh yeah. You're right. So we're going to talk about players for extension. All right. So here we go.
All right. So this list, and I'll have to scroll a little bit. But what I did was I grabbed the 2021 draft, and so all those players are up. They're entering their 5th year, which means they're up for extensions at their restricted free agents at the end of this season.
Right.
So what I wanted to do is and I'll be honest with the audience here. The thought process, because I have a lot of conflicting thoughts on how much the Warriors should pay Jonathan Kuminga, right? So the genesis of this list was for me to try to figure out what should they pay him, And so then I said, you know what? I'm going to gather some intel on the top 20 guys, who's been paid, who hasn't. Maybe we can argue, do we think that, like Jalen Suggs, for example, has no extension? Is he better than Josh Giddey? Is he worse than Josh Giddey? Should he get more than Kuminga? Should he get less than Kuminga? So basically what I did was I started to grab all of the information. I also, in the notes section, some players have been traded. One player has been waived. So obviously there's players here that have gone through a little bit.
Right.
Jalen Green, who is playing really well for Houston this year, but hasn't really played all that great up until that point. He's been okay, but this year he's really kind of exploded. So I kind of put in the notes there. Is he a max guy now? Is he not a max guy now?
But you know what's interesting, bro, is that I was doing a little bit of research on this thing, and I think Jalen Green did get an extension, or at least it's been rumored that he got a 3-year extension at 106 million.
I wasn't able to confirm that.
Yeah. I don't think it's confirmed. At least he's got a 3-year extension, but the number they suspect is about 106 million.
Okay, so 106 million for 3 years.
Yes.
Okay, so when we look at this list, we can see obviously Cade Cunningham has gotten the max deal. Evan Mobley, who I would have given it to him, the minute this season started, but he's got the extension. Scotty Barnes is the face of Toronto right now. He's gotten the max. Franz Wagner, who coincidentally was a pick after Kuminga.
Man, he's balling right now, bro.
He is balling. And I remember, a lot of talk between one or the other, with the Warriors, whatever. He got the max extension. And then outside of that, nobody else got the max. Then we can talk about the guys who have gotten something less than the max, right? Which is kind of lower down here. So Moses Moody, for example, in my opinion, the Warriors got a steal given this list, right? They got a 3-year, $39 million extension. Corey Kispert at Washington, right? He got a 4-year, $54 million. Now that they're playing all the rookies and everything, I don't know how this all plays out, but that is also giving it a pretty good. Another one that's a steal, Sengun. Got a 5-year, $185 million extension. That's a steal, in my opinion, because he probably should have got the max, right?
Yeah, he's going to be a beast, man.
Yep. Trey Murphy, who, based on last year's season, has been playing really well. Well, I would also consider this a steal. He got a 4-year, $112 million deal. Okay. Now, and then Jalen Johnson for Atlanta got a 5-year, $150 million deal.
Damn, and he was the 20th pick too, man.
Yeah, he was the 20th pick in this
value,
draft.
man.
Yep. Wow. So those are the players that have gotten paid, right?
Right.
Now, Jalen Green, you talked that maybe he got a 3-year extension.
Yeah.
My question was, is he a max guy? But then we go to Jalen Suggs. So Eddie, kind of playing around here, the projection for him is around a 4-year, $112 million deal. Right?
So it looks like they gave him one though. They gave him a 5-year, $150.5 million. It looks like.
Okay, well then again, that was not confirmed because I went through.
I think that's kind of It may not be confirmed, but that's what I've heard.
Okay, so you're saying he got $150 million for 4 years.
150.5.
Okay, 150.5.
5 years for 5 years.
Josh Giddey.
Josh Giddey did not get
extension.
One. No extension.
Traded from the Bulls. What are you paying Josh Giddey, Eddie?
Probably right around what Jalen Green gets, around 106 million, probably in that range. He's been playing pretty good for the Bulls, man. He's been playing very well for the Bulls. The Bulls are a sneaky, decent team right now, man. So it seems to be like a good trade for the Bulls. They now have a starter, and where they gave up a bench guy, like kind of a glue guy for somebody who's potentially had a higher ceiling than Caruso. So and he's been playing well. So
just wait till my boy Buzelis starts kicking in, bro. They're gonna take it to another level.
He wasn't on that list at all, bro. Sorry, man.
I know he wasn't. He's coming. He's coming, bro.
All right, man.
All right. The next one is Kuminga. So from what I was seeing, projections, not what he wants or not.
Yeah.
4-year, $108 million deal. Do you think that's more than he deserves?
I think I think that's probably. I think he's probably going to land somewhere less than 30. I think he's going to be probably about 28 to 27 million a year. That's what I think.
Okay, so you think
it's about that? It's about that then, right there. 20, maybe 25, 26. That's right there. It's like that's a what 20.
Yeah,
27.
27 and change.
Like 27. I'd say that's about right. I think that's where it's going to go.
So you'd be happy with this?
I think so. I think because I think they figured out that the way they open this guy up, he's a matchup problem for the second squad. For the guys that are coming off the bench. For the other team, this guy is finding himself. I think a little bit by doing what they're doing right now, and I think he's found out what his strengths are. He's starting to figure that out. And they were talking about that on the broadcast that he's just a raw talent, and he still hasn't figured out his fit. But his overall game has gotten better, man. I got to give it to him.
He's a little more polished, still a little questionable in certain decisions now, but
yes,
he's a little bit more like the thing that for me, the thing about it is if we have garbage time of any kind, I'm like, let him loose, just be loose, because I trust him in kind of that type of scenario. To me, the next level is how's he act when things get tight,
right?
Close game, fourth quarter minutes, closing minutes, those types of things. Then we've got Davion Mitchell, who was obviously traded from the Kings to the Raptors. He was packaged, I believe, to get I don't remember who, but they ended up. What are you giving Davion Mitchell? Any thoughts?
No. I mean, he's not like a huge difference maker. I'd probably put him in the Corey Kispert category.
Yeah, so Moses Moody, Corey Kispert.
Kind of in that category. Yeah, I'd probably put him in between. I'd probably put him in Moses Moody category, honestly.
Yep. How about Zaire?
I'd probably put him in a little bit less than the Moses Moody category.
Okay. And then this guy, he's out of the
he doesn't play, man.
He's gone.
Yeah.
Primo.
Same.
He's gone.
Yeah.
Duarte, who was
he's been a journeyman, dude. He's been playing. I think he's played like 4 teams already, man. Or 3 or 4 teams.
Yeah. What's crazy, and I'll fess up. I wanted him. I was upset when they drafted
Podziemski, right? You wanted him over Podziemski.
No, I wanted him over Moody.
Oh, Moody. Yeah, that's right. It is Moody.
So
different draft.
He got picked up he got by Indiana. He was drafted by Indiana. The pick.
Yeah, and Moody's a better player. Moody's a better player.
Yeah, now he's been everywhere. And what are you giving him? Moody money? Less?
No,
more?
less than Moody money, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we got Trey Man here.
He's about Moses Moody money, maybe a little bit more. He's actually a pretty good player, man.
Yep.
He's starting to play pretty well for Charlotte. So
and then we got Ty Jones, who's probably on the low end.
Hardly plays, man. He's starting to play now, backing up Visa Zubac, but he hardly plays. I mean, he's starting to play now. He's starting to, right? But man, that's crazy that Jalen Johnson, man, he became a player. He is a freaking player, man. Wow. At number 20. Interesting, man. So
yes.
Cool, man.
And he got less for the max, right? Because the max was 224 and change. That's what you could give any rookie. I mean, that's 70 million less.
Oh yeah.
I mean, him and Sengun are like, and I know he got paid the max, but to me, Mobley,
I think there's a limit, bro. But bro, I think there's a limit. Did you say that was 224 million? I thought it was 185. I think the max for a rookie extension, the very first time.
No, it's 224 and change.
Okay,
it's 224 and change. Correct.
All right.
Yeah. So to me, Mobley, Sengun, and Jalen Johnson are like the steals. I mean, Cade Cunningham, they almost had to do it, but I'm not 100% sold. I don't know how you feel, but they're paying him like the face of the franchise. I don't know yet. For me,
I think he is, man. He's a good player, man.
Yeah, but Max, good.
Yeah, you get close. Yeah, pretty close.
Scotty Barnes has been hurt a little bit.
Yeah, he's a good player, man.
Yeah,
Cade Cunningham was hurt, and he's becoming a very good player right now, man.
Yeah,
So
and then Franz Wagner, who's playing really good right now.
Unbelievable. He's playing very well, man. I mean, of course, it opens up when you don't have Banchero on the team, right?
Yep.
So he's starting to find his way without Banchero. So
yeah, and obviously that produces more growth for the organization.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
Anyway, this is what I wanted to do. I just wanted to quickly go over this.
I liked it, man. Good stuff, man. I like it.
Yeah, so I think maybe every season we'll just pick the
for sure. I think we should make this an ongoing thing. Every season we'll do this, man. I like this good segment, man.
Yeah.
So
right.
I know, dude. I can hear your family's stomach grumbling from over here in Pleasanton, bro. Let's wrap this thing up. So what we talked about, we went. Of course, we did the whole NBA roundup. We talked, spent quite a few time on, the West and the East and, some of the things that we're seeing from these teams and, which ones are struggling, which ones are actually surprises. We know the Cleveland's a big surprise. The Warriors are a big surprise. Then we went ahead and dovetailed into the NBA Cup. We went ahead and, decided, hey, is this something that the NBA should keep doing? And if so, what could they do to enhance it and make it better? We said that we liked the team colors and the floor colors, all that stuff. But then we picked, the teams that we thought would come out of each group and also the wild card for each. And we're going to have a little contest between us. Tuan and I are about contests, right? We haven't figured that out. All right. And then we went ahead and talked about the rookies. We went through 4 different lists. We compared, the subjective versus the analytics. We went how things have changed from the last time we talked about this on episode 25. This is episode 27. And then the very last thing we talked about players up for extension, what we thought some of these players should deserve, as their rookie contracts are expiring and what they should get as an extension. So very good topic there, Tuan. So anyway, this is Buzzer Beaters. I'm Eddie Aparicio. This is Anthony Tuan Corral. You can find us on any other podcast outlet that you can find, like, X, Facebook, Pandora, I don't know, Spotify, anywhere you can find your outlet, you can find Buzzer Beaters. But anyway, this is Eddie Aparicio of the Anthony Tuan Corral, and we're going to go ahead and sign off.
Hey everybody, this is Big John from Grumblings Media, and I just want to say thank you for watching our content. If you want to support our efforts here at Grumblings Media, just smash the subscribe button right here, totally free, or just go ahead and consume more of our great content. Click either one of these 2 boxes.